Hi, I'm Tim. Join me in this video as we go through the MO-FLY 680mm, about 27-inch wingspan, P-51D, almost ready to fly RC model airplane. Let's get to it. As a reminder, there are chapters of the timeline. There's also a purchase link in the description. This is a MO-FLY P-51D, 680mm, about 27-inch wingspan. It's an almost ready to fly kit. Cut out of the box. We'll go through an unboxing and assembly. It took me less than 45 minutes to build. It goes together very well. There were just no issues at all. It's really a pretty nice little airplane. EPP foam, not a perfect finish, but the EPP is a good, flexible, tough foam, so that should be good. 4 channels with rudder, elevator, and throttle control. So let's take a look at the history of the aircraft, then we'll go through a build. The P-51 Mustang was built per British request in 1940. This was a year before the U.S. entered the World War II after the Pearl Harbor attacks. For the initial contract signature to the first flight was about 4 months. It was designed very quickly. Went through a bunch of improvements with various engines and all that, and then it wound up being a mainstay of the Army Air Forces in World War II. Over 15,000 of these aircraft were built. The key thing that was a benefit to the P-51, it carried a lot of internal fuel compared to other fighters, and with the addition of these external fuel tanks that could be jettisoned over enemy territory, the P-51 had enough range to escort the B-17 bombers on their bombing runs, greatly increasing the survivability of the bombers. Let's take a look at the website for this aircraft. This is the EngineDIY website with the Mustang shown here. Good website, a lot of pictures, a lot of good information. You can pick how many batteries you want. Good features, flight-friendly status, things of that nature, just a lot of good information. As an example of the pictures, here is the finished P-51, very nice presentation. This is a picture of the controller, the transmitter, a lot of good data on the switches and so forth. Here's a box of the P-51 from the folks at EngineDIY. The company is the MO-FLY 680mm P-51D. Nice box, a lot of good art on it. So let's, oh, by the way, it does have an option for a camera. I'm not quite sure why you put a camera on something small like this bouncing around, but if you go to that option, it pairs with your smartphone, so you can use it with the included transmitter. This video review does not have the camera. So let's open the box and take a look at it. Here's the instruction manual. We'll go through more detail on that. Some nice decals. This is the inside of the box. There's the wing right here with the foam, landing gears, and the servos for the ailerons are built into the wing, so that's good. This is all the other stuff in here. We have drop tanks. The tail surfaces are all hinged with the control horns in place. The 3-bladed propeller. Another drop tank from the fuselage. There's a fuselage itself, the electronics. Motor's obviously all built in, a brushless motor. And they have the canopy. More servos, the battery goes up here. See, the battery is installed here. So this is a 2-cell battery, so that should be good. Pretty good sized battery. I like that. So that's the fuselage. And then the tails. Landing gear, bits and bobs, screwdrivers, spinners, etc. And then underneath all this is the transmitter. This transmitter, the 3 modes, manual mode, 3D, 6G, 6GB in the beginner. It's a pretty standard 4-channel transmitter for the model. So that's what comes in the box. Everything looks complete. It looks like it's in pretty good shape. Let's go ahead and start putting it together. Here are the parts out of the box. Everything's spread out. The transmitter, you need to supply the 4 AA batteries, the 2-cell lipo, the rudder with the pins that just fit in, the stabilizer, the wing with the 2 aileron connector wires. Very nice decals, a good instruction sheet, and the fuselage with everything installed, motor, electronics, and so forth. The bag with the bits and bobs, the wheels, the spinners are all here. Very robust landing gear, good charger, screwdrivers, and the screws to assemble. It's really a very complete instruction manual. I'll show you a few pages in detail, but if you just follow this step by step, there should be no problems really with putting the aircraft together. It's not a complicated process, but they do a good job with illustrations and word diagram of what you need to build this aircraft. The instruction manual is very well done, good illustrations, clear language, there's no ambiguity, step by step how to put on the tail, the wing, the screws needed, how to assemble, how to use the wires, how to test everything. You just have to study it and connect things, and it goes together very quickly, just in less than half an hour. So let's work together now. We'll actually put the aircraft together. Here's some detail of the actual assembly. Again, the vertical fin just with that red pin just fits into the stabilizer. Everything's hinged. The control horns are in place. You have to fit in the tail wheel as you add it to the fuselage. The directions again are pretty good on this. And again, everything fits well. Here the tail is in place with that red cover. Just screws in place with the supplied screws and screwdriver. Just per the directions. Goes together very well. Here's a view of the elevator and rudder with the control horns. Click in place. Everything lines up just fine. And just good hinges. No slop. Just a good setup. Now the one thing that is a little bit of a trick is you've got to connect the two ailerons, and here are the aileron sockets for the left and right ailerons, and here it is on the fuselage. You can see the two empty sockets right there. You'll have to take the plugs from the ailerons, plug them in there, just look at the correct orientation, and I highly recommend plugging that in before you attach the wing. Here we can see the underside of the wing. Each aileron has its own servo, which is nice, to make sure the ailerons are hitched up properly and they move in the right direction to that built-in receiver right there. Here the battery is in place in top. I've got the transmitter on. There's no prop for safety on the propeller. And so we're just going to check to make sure the ailerons work correctly, proper direction, elevator, rudder as well, before we screw the wing in place. Once the wing is screwed into place, you don't have access to these controls anyhow. It's just buried in the fuselage. There, the two aileron connectors are hitched up to the ports in the receiver. And if we checked before, they're okay. You can see the two red holes for where the screws go in. And the next step is just slide the wing into place in the radiator and back. The two screws in front, you can see the screwdriver, there's pretty deep holes. The screws go in, they go right into place. There's no problem at all. One really nice feature of this airplane is the sturdy landing gear. It is absolutely rock solid. It goes in very well. It just fits into place. So those little covers snap in. You can remove the landing gear if you wish. The spinner is no big deal. A three-bladed prop, and the halfway mate goes in. There's the installed brushless motor. It just goes into place, and you screw on the end of the spinner to hold everything in. And here is a finished airplane ready for its final checks. The canopy is held on with a rare earth magnet. There's plenty of room for the battery in here. That helps with the center of gravity. Everything's fine. So let's power it on. I'll show you how to do that. We turn on the transmitter just by pushing that button. Notice there is a flashing light here, which means it's not talking to the airplane. I'll show you how to fix that. So the transmitter's on. We go ahead and connect the battery. And so nothing's working right now because we have to take the throttle, move it up and down, and you hear that beep. Now the controls are working, and I'll show that in a second. But notice the stabilization is not working until we activate the throttle. So we'll just move that up a little bit. Now you can hear the stabilization system working as you move the airplane. So let me show you the control surfaces. We'll do the elevator and rudder. So here's the elevator and the rudder, like that. Notice there is a little steerable tail wheel there. And as we mentioned, the throttle, and there's plenty of power in the throttle. Now, one thing I want to point out on this transmitter, you've got three modes. You've got 6G, 3D, and manual mode. Manual mode is no stabilization. You're flying it without any help stabilizing it for full control. I think it's going to be a very tricky model to fly. 3D uses 3 gyros to stabilize it. 6G uses the 3 gyros and 3 accelerometers for full stabilized control. So what will happen is in 6G, you can see, for example, if the plane banks to the left, this automatically goes down to try to make it level again. And same way for the elevator, so it aids with the control of the aircraft. One thing about this airplane that I've never seen, I want to point out. So we'll look at the stabilization switch. The top is manual, the middle is 3G, and the bottom is 6G, or 3D they call it. So notice in the manual or 3D mode, when you move the ailerons, that's fine. But when you move it down to the 6G and you move the ailerons, note that the rudder moves also. The rudder moves in coordination with the ailerons. That's fine for coordinated flight, but just something to keep in mind that I've never seen before. That's just some sort of electronic mixing. The charger that comes with it is very nice. You've got a flashing green light as it charges, and I check it with a watt meter to see when it's done. I mentioned the center of gravity. Let me just unplug this for safety. Looks good. About here with the battery installed, that's just about where it should be. Looks like it has plenty of power, so the next thing to do is to take it out to the field for a test flight, and I'll see what the field when the weather's good. We're out at the flying field. Again, a very nice presentation with the model. The one thing I did for glue is you glue on the cowl. It was a friction fit, a little bit loose, and the wing tanks, I did glue those on. This is the battery. It's a pretty big 2-cell. What I like a lot about this is plenty of room for the battery, the fuselage there, the correct location for the center of gravity, and there the battery is in place. You just plug it in and everything's fine. Good weather day, no wind for the test flights, and this is the first flight right here. We take off, tons of power. It's off the ground in a hurry and up and away. I'm in the 6G mode, the beginner mode, and it flies nice. It's got plenty of power. The one thing that I will say, and I'll kind of emphasize through here, it is a fighter, it's a P-51, keep your speed up. If you get slow, it'll drop quickly. It'll take a little bit of time to catch up. So just a good habit pattern until you get really comfortable is keep your speed up, and you'll be well served on that. So I'll demonstrate this on my landing here. I get a little bit slow coming down. I'm usually used to lowering the nose. It just drops down, and that's the end of that flight. Now on this second one, I'm going to just do a turn to the left to circle back to land. Again, that very nice takeoff. Keep it a little bit low below the tree line, turn it around. We're coming back into the runway. I'm keeping the speed up. Oh, nice. It handles fine, and there's the landing and the steerable tail wheel. We taxi back. So I'm just back from the RC field with a test flight of the P-51D, and I really couldn't be any happier. This is a good airplane. It looks good, and it's one of the most solid flyers of this size that I've had. One thing I do want to point out is the landing gear. It's a super strong landing gear. You can remove it with these little clips, as you saw when we were building it, but it's absolutely rugged, not springy, and that's the key for the takeoffs, as you can see. But the plane handles well. It's got tons of power. It turns fine. I did my test flights in the 6G low throw mode. And the one thing you've got to do, though, is keep your speed up. It's not a slow flyer. It's not a criticism of the aircraft. It just, you need to keep your speed up, especially in the turns. You can slow down once you get comfortable with it, but when you come into land, keep your speed up, keep the power on, and you just fly it on, and you can see that it does a very credible job. So, great little plane for flying at the field, highly recommended.